This guide is going to be on Lilia Sage. This is really strong now as Lilia got recently buffed so that her orbs now have better targeting, and this can really help to destroy enemy backlines. Even with the B-side patch, which reduced their damage a little bit, this is still going to be a really strong and really viable comp for you guys. So let's get into it. Now, since this comp relies on a level 8 transition to 4 costs and 5 costs, you're going to want to play your strongest early board for the early game and the mid game. Now, I'll give you guys the early and mid game that I like to play in case you want a bit more guidance. So early on, I'm going to want to put in 3 Storyweaver, so this would be Sivir, Riven, and Garen. And for Kayle, I usually go green Kayle for some early shred, but blue Kayle is also good as you'll want to have Zyra in later, and so that extra AP is nice. Then at level 4, I'll usually add in Jax, as this gives me Warden, and is a pretty solid start all around. Whenever I find Zyra, you want to switch her in for Sivir, as well as switching Illaoi in for Jax. When you can, you'll want to add in Aatrox for Ghostly and Bruiser. At level 7, you're going to add in Neeko and Soraka, as this will give you Heavenly, Altruist, and Arcanist. And all of your AP items are going to want to go on Zyra, as she'll be your early and mid game carry. Now at level 8, this is when you're going to be pivoting to the full comp, which is going to be Neeko, Diana, Illaoi, Nautilus, Morgana, and Lilia, as well as 2 out of the following 3 units, Wukong, Rakan, or Janna. At level 9, you will add in whichever of those 3 that you didn't at level 8, and if you have either new recruit or decide to go level 10, it's a good idea to add in either Lee Sin, as this gives you 4 Dragon Lord, which gets you that extra stun, or Zyra for 1 more Sage, as this will give you a bit more Omnivamp and AP. And you can decide who you want to add based on whoever you get or your needs at the time. Now let's take a look at what items are good. As always, prioritizing itemizing your carries is very important, so you're going to want to be giving your items to Lilia and Morgana. Now Lilia will need Shojin for mana regen, Deathcap for damage, as well as Jeweled Gauntlet for that added crit, or you can put in Shiv. Morgana will want Shiv for the magic shred, Morello for burn, as well as either Shojin or Adaptive Helm for her mana regen. Now Nautilus is good with any tank items, but Redemption and Ionic Spark are especially good on him for this comp. If you find yourself getting a lot of bows, making a red buff is not bad for Morgana instead of the Morello, as it still gives the burn. If you find yourself getting a lot of gloves, then make sure that you are making thief gloves with these, as this is a super good item on both Wukong and Rakan. Any AD items that you get will go on the Wukong later, but you definitely don't want to be getting a lot of AD items with this comp. All the carousels, and any times you have a component anvil or a choice, you want to be getting AP items for your Lilia and your Morgana. Now for augments, some good silver augments are Exiled, Over Encumbered to get you some items, Band of Thieves for those thief gloves, Stimpak, Help is on the way, and Best Friends are also good. Now for gold augments, Combat Caster is really good as you have a lot of sages that are casting. Capricious Forge and Sleight of Hand are good for those thieves gloves. Unified Resistance is just good for extra defense, and Shock Treatment and Magic Wand can be situationally good depending if you're not able to get these items for your carries. Now for prismatic augments, New Recruit is going to be the all-around best augment for this comp. It gives you that extra unit, which is really good in getting synergies in. It also gives you that champ duplicator, which can be helpful getting your carries to 2-star. If you see this augment, you're always taking it. Now some other good augments are going to be Caretaker's Chosen, Living Forge, Stationary Support, and Jeweled Lotus can be good if you weren't able to get a Jeweled Gauntlet on your Lilia, and Unleashed Arcana can be okay, but this is very situational. If you weren't able to get AP items and you're going this comp, it is really good, but if you already have items for your carry, then you don't want to get this augment. Now for some tips. This comp is all about going fast 8 and then pivoting into it. So you want to be able to manage your econ well so that you're able to get to level 8 and then 9 afterwards. At level 8, you want to either 2-star your Lilia or your Morgana, as well as maybe Nautilus if you find him, as this will help you stabilize your board so that you can go 9, and then look for 2 stars of both Wukong, Rakan, and any other of your 4 costs that haven't been 2-starred yet. At level 9, you're also able to add that final unit, which is either the Lee Sin or the Zyra, to get that extra synergy in. Now you'll want to try and maintain as much health early game and mid game as possible so that you don't bleed out before you transition. This can be a big problem and is the reason I've lost with this comp before, is because I bled out, wasn't able to hit my 2-star 4 costs, and just lost the game. So this is why Zyra can be really helpful. If you're able to 2-star Zyra in the early and mid game, she can be a good carry as well as a good holder of all those AP items. Now if you're not getting any AP items, this is just not the comp to go, as you really need those items on your carries, and without it, it's just not worth. But this is a really good comp. It does well against backline heavy comps like Ashe and Irelia, as Lilia's orbs are still able to get there, and the Morgana burn can be really effective against these as well. Now thanks for watching, I hope you guys enjoy this comp, and I hope you guys enjoy this gameplay. Have a good one.